Hey there, folks. Settle in because I've got quite the tale to spin for you today. Picture this. I found myself working the night shift at a gas station, just trying to make ends meet. It was meant to be a temporary gig, nothing too out of the ordinary, but little did I know, I was about to embark on a seriously creepy journey. Now, around my second or third month on the job, this character started showing up like clockwork at the ungodly hour of 2 a.m. He was a tall fella, with long, stringy hair, always strolling in to grab himself a tall boy. Seemed harmless enough at first, just your run-of-the-mill late-night customer, right? Wrong. Things were about to get weird, real weird. After a bit of small talk, he started addressing me as Rob, despite the fact that my name's nowhere close to Rob. It was odd, to say the least, but I shrugged it off initially. But then came the kicker. Turns out, this guy never once bought gas, only ever alcohol. And one particular night, he was so plastered, he practically leaned against a shelf, not uttering a single word, just staring off into the abyss. Eventually, I mustered up the courage to ask him his name, to which he grunted out, Bob. Now, Bob struck me as one of those classic fake names, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something just wasn't right about this whole situation. He started ranting about how the government had done him wrong, how he admired me because I seemed to have my act together. I was thoroughly confused, but he stumbled out shortly after, leaving me with more questions than answers. Fast forward a week or so, and Bob was nowhere to be found. As odd as our encounters had been, I found myself oddly missing the unsettling vibe he brought with him. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to Bob than met the eye. Then, one stormy night, with fewer customers than usual, Bob stumbled in, drenched to the bone, his demeanor more agitated and disturbed than ever before. He muttered something about having done something really bad before making a beeline for the restroom. Let me tell you folks, that was a chilling moment if ever there was one, and I could feel the unease creeping up my spine. Time ticked by, and Bob never emerged from that restroom. And just when I thought things couldn't get any weirder, the lights flickered and went out, plunging the entire store into darkness. Armed with nothing but a flashlight and a gnawing sense of dread, I made my way to the back of the store where the restrooms were located. Both restroom doors were ajar, and there was no sign of Bob. But as I ventured further into the dimly lit storage area, I heard the unmistakable sounds of dripping water and squeaking wet shoes. My heart pounded in my chest as I whispered Bob's name into the darkness. And then, out of nowhere, he lunged at me from the shadows, his eyes wide with madness, screaming about how he was going to kill me. I managed to shove him away, and in a panic I sprinted back to the front of the store, grabbed my rain jacket, and dialed 911 faster than I ever thought possible. The police arrived in a flash, and after a tense standoff, they found Bob cowering in a corner like a wild animal and promptly slapped the cuffs on him. Later I learned that Bob's real name wasn't Bob at all. It was Martin. And as it turned out, he had brutally murdered his ex-wife, possibly on the very same night he had paid a visit to the gas station. Needless to say, that night was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I bid adieu to the night shifts and never looked back. So folks, take it from me. Stay vigilant, trust your instincts, and never underestimate the power of a gut feeling. And most importantly, stay safe out there.
Hey folks, gather round because I've got a tale from the depths of memory to share with you today. It's a haunting recollection from the mid-1960s, set in the Atlanta area, back when I was just a wide-eyed kid of around 8 or 9 years old. Every morning, without fail, I'd accompany my father on his journey to the suburban school where he taught. And every morning, like clockwork, we'd make a pit stop at this quaint, independent gas station. Now let me set the scene for you. This gas station wasn't your run-of-the-mill self-service affair. Oh no, it was a throwback to a time when attendants greeted you with a smile, filled up your tank, and even took the time to give your windows a good scrubbing. But one fateful morning, our routine took a sinister turn. As we pulled into the station, just before the sun had a chance to peek over the horizon, an eerie stillness greeted us. The usual hustle and bustle were conspicuously absent, replaced by an unsettling silence that seemed to hang heavy in the air. No attendants manned the pumps, no customers browsed the aisles. It was as if time itself had frozen. My father, ever the optimist, honked the horn a couple of times, hoping to rouse someone from the depths of the station's booth. But our efforts were met with nothing but silence. We exchanged puzzled glances, speculating on the whereabouts of the missing attendant. Had nature called? Or perhaps some unforeseen car trouble had detained him? Minutes stretched into eternity, but there was still no sign of life. Feeling the urge to relieve myself, I made a move to open the car door, but my father, sensing something amiss, intervened. With a furrowed brow, he decided that we couldn't afford to wait any longer. And so, with a sense of unease gnawing at our insides, we departed, leaving behind the enigmatic emptiness of the gas station. Little did we know, a day or two later, my father would stumble upon a shocking article in the local newspaper, an article that would send shivers down our spines and haunt our dreams for years to come. It detailed the gruesome discovery of a gas station attendant's lifeless body, brutally stabbed and left to rot in the men's bathroom of the very station we had frequented. The motive behind this heinous act was crystal clear: a senseless act of robbery. Every last penny and bill had been pilfered from the scene, leaving behind a trail of destruction and despair. As I reflect on this harrowing experience, I can't help but wonder how profoundly my young psyche might have been scarred if, by some twist of fate, I had insisted on using the bathroom that fateful morning. Would I have stumbled upon the grim aftermath, forever haunted by the sights and sounds of that tragic scene? It's a chilling thought, one that serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the depths of human depravity. Needless to say, we never set foot in that gas station again. The memory of that dark day still casts a long shadow over my soul, a haunting reminder of the darkness that lurks just beneath the surface of everyday life. So, my friends, cherish each moment, hold your loved ones close, and never take the simple pleasures of life for granted.
Hey everyone, settle in because I've got a bone-chilling tale to share with you today. Picture this. I'm 25 years old, cruising on a late-night drive from North to South Texas, courtesy of my demanding work schedule. Exhaustion was slowly seeping into my bones, and to combat it, I had to make frequent pit stops for cups of coffee just to keep my eyelids from drooping. So, on this particular desolate night, I pull into what seemed like a random gas station off Route 281. The atmosphere was eerie, with only 2 souls inhabiting the shop, the cashier and a lone figure pacing the aisles. I figured I'd grab another cup of joe and be on my way, but little did I know, this pit stop would turn into a nerve-wracking encounter. As I poured myself a steaming cup of coffee, the pacing individual sauntered over, making small talk about the weather and the coffee temperature. It was innocuous at first, but as his inquiries delved deeper, my unease grew. Hastily, I paid for my purchases, hoping to make a swift exit, but he persisted, commenting on my attire and probing about my destination. Irritation prickled at my nerves, and I firmly requested to be left alone. Exiting the shop, I noticed he trailed behind me. Fumbling with the gas pump, I could sense his presence lingering just beyond my peripheral vision. Anxiety coiled in my gut as he finally spoke. "Are you alone?" My heart skipped a beat. Instinctively, I concocted a fib, claiming my boyfriend was waiting in the car. His laughter rang hollow, and he continued to inch closer, sending alarm bells ringing in my head. It was then that I made a split-second decision and retrieved my pepper spray, holding it at the ready. Thankfully, my defensive action caused him to back off, insisting he was merely engaging in harmless conversation. But the tension remained thick in the air. Venturing back into the shop to collect my change, I confided in the cashier about the unsettling encounter, only to be met with a blank stare of obliviousness. Upon stepping back outside, I scanned my surroundings warily. To my relief and trepidation, the man had vanished into the night. Despite this, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, hesitant to let my guard down. It was only when a kind stranger arrived, offering to check behind my car and effectively scare off any potential threats, that I felt a semblance of safety return. With my heart still racing, I hurriedly left the gas station, the gravity of the situation sinking in. It was a stark reminder that danger could lurk in the most unexpected of places, waiting to strike when least expected. The memory of that chilling encounter continues to haunt me, serving as a cautionary tale to always stay vigilant and prioritize personal safety. Take heed, folks, and stay safe out there.
I'm a freshman attending college in the South, and just to paint a picture, I'm a young woman. Before diving into this tale, let me give you a quick rundown of myself. I'm on the shorter side, a bit on the chubby side, and I happen to be black. When I say short, think just below average height, around 5'4". My college is situated across the street from this rundown gas station where I happen to work part-time. One night, my boss left me to handle the place solo, claiming he hadn't caught a wink of sleep. It was a slow evening, no particular reason. It just was. While idling behind the counter, playing Geometry Dash on my phone, I heard the doorbell chime as someone entered. Glancing up, I spotted a man of average height, quite thin, yet oddly intimidating. Now, I'm not one to easily cower, but there was something about him that gave me pause. He had a receding hairline with a feeble comb-over, dressed in a worn-out white tee riddled with holes and mud-splattered dad jeans, as if he'd just come back from a hunt. With hollow, empty eyes, he mumbled something inaudible and wandered towards the back of the store. I kept an eye on him, but soon boredom led me back to my game. However, a sense of unease nagged at me, prompting me to glance up again, only to find him peering at me from behind an aisle. Instinctively, I averted my gaze, pretending to be engrossed in my phone. When I looked up again, he stood at the counter, clutching a pack of gummy worms and a beer. "Find everything okay, sir?" I asked, slightly startled. He remained silent, fishing out a crumpled $10 bill from his pocket. "That'll be $5.68, I said, handing him his change with a smile. Out of nowhere, he erupted with racist slurs, leaving me stunned and speechless. Before I could react, a group of college guys barged in, distracting us both. He grabbed his purchase and left abruptly. Luckily, one of the guys was a friend who noticed my distress. Offering me some snacks and reassurance, he jotted down his number on a piece of receipt paper before leaving with his pals. After my shift, as I crossed the street towards my dorm, I heard commotion behind me. Glancing back, I saw campus security confronting the same man from the gas station. His gaze locked onto me, sending shivers down my spine. I hastened my steps, eager to put the encounter behind me. The next day, while studying in the Union Center, my friend approached me with a disturbing revelation. Apparently, they had apprehended a man on campus the previous night, armed with a pistol and a hunting knife. He fit the description of the racist individual from the gas station. It sent a chill down my spine, realizing he had been following me. In the end, he was caught, and I was safe. But the memory of that unsettling encounter lingers, a reminder of the darker side of human nature.